Hello, welcome back to Up the Villa. If you're new to Up the Villa, make sure you are subscribing. Smash the like button, hype the episode up. Let's go for 800 likes on this one. Let's keep the momentum going. And most importantly, comment your thoughts on everything we discuss on this episode. I'm kind of going to be talking, and we are going to be talking about how Unai Emery keeps winning big football matches. Along with other topics, we've got a stacked out panel. Hannah and Ryan, how are we both doing?
Very well, good. Thank you.
Very well.
Yeah, I don't expect an answer anything other than that. So we're going to kick it off, and we're going to just I want to get your thoughts, Hannah, especially because we heard Ryan's on the fan cams. I've done my debrief, but this was a big result. So how are you feeling about Aston Villa overall? Because we haven't heard from you for a couple of games. So talk to me about Arsenal, the atmosphere, Emery, and what you feel like this means for Villa, having come off some very good results.
Well, it being a 12:30 kickoff, they're normally the ones that they're a bit flat, aren't they? They're the types of occasions that everyone's left the house at like 10:30, 11, and it's a bit flat. But I feel like the second we were in the ground yesterday, there was definitely that buzz. And Villa Park is made for those big games. It's just different gravy when we're playing a big opponent. And it'd be nice if it was like that all the time, but realistically we know that these big games are like the moments where Villa Park really is the 13th man. And yesterday was just, it was such a memorable game. There's been lots of moments at Villa Park that you kind of remember and look back on, and I think that will sort of enter that Hall of Fame for me. Since I got my season ticket 6 or 7 years ago, the last minute winner is just a feeling like no other. I'd said to a couple of people in my family that I'm actually glad that we almost conceded and went 1-1 just for that pure euphoria of getting a 90+5, because it's the best. I thought the performance overall was just excellent. There was spells where Arsenal were obviously on top, and we probably expected that because they are top of the league for a reason and will be favourites still to win the title this year. But I think that everything that they had for us, we had an answer to. And Unai Emery has shown a couple of times now that he sort of understands how to out-tactic Mikel Arteta. We've done it once at home, but then we've also had a couple of near misses and a couple of games where sort of fortune's gone against us. And I think that late goal was something falling our way after a couple of frustrating meetings at Villa Park. And I think it was the performance and the result that's sort of put us in that conversation now. I keep kind of teasing about the title conversation, and realistically, are Villa going to win the league? Probably not. Like it's not something that I go to bed dreaming about, to be honest. It would be lovely, but it's not on the checklist for the season, I don't think. But why can't we be in the conversation? Why can't we really push it to as far as we can possibly go and be in that conversation and be in and amongst it? I think that in itself is such a miraculous achievement. So really euphoric, and just seeing the celebrations post-match from the players, from Emery, you could feel the magnitude of a win like that and the kind of confidence that gives you. The amount of wins we've had in the last sort of 6-8 weeks, particularly this week, it was a difficult one. It was really tough against Wolves last weekend, the type of game that was, to a really battling, swashbuckling game away in midweek, to a proper big game occasion on Saturday. I feel like we've had it all in the last 7 days. So just trying to enjoy it really, because the games are thick and fast, and we've got a really busy period coming up with it being sort of Christmas time and lots more games. But I think we've just got to absolutely revel in it. And I think it means that now this Villa side should have the confidence to go into the rest of the season thinking that the sky's the limit. I can't remember what the phrase was in one of the tifos, like there's no limit to our dreams. I think at the time it was a bit of a meme because we were rubbish and we couldn't spend any money, and it was all like, well, there is a limit. But now it feels like we've got that excitement back and that hope and that, you know, anything is a possibility feel around the team and the club, which is just the best, isn't it? So I'm reveling in it, and, you know, back at the position where you just can't wait for the next game.
Yeah, I think the word you've got there is reveling. I think I'm fully on board with that, and I think the whole title talk it's there for fans to enjoy. You know, there's some fans that are going, don't talk about it. You talk about it sort of after the Arsenal game at the Emirates, or talk about it in April. All right, you do that.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm not being funny, but I've wanted my football club to be at the top end of the league my whole life. And while this football club are competing there, I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to dream personally that we can do it. You know, and okay, we're competing for maybe Champions League as a realistic expectation, and Emery's always going to put a containing job in the media and play it down and talk about April, etc. But I understand that, and that's his job to do that. His job is to make the players focus one game at a time and just focus on that and talk about things in the press maybe come April time. But for me as a fan, I'm just fully getting on board with it because I have to enjoy supporting Aston Villa. I have to live and breathe all of the good moments, and a good moment for me is like 10-10, thinking 10-10. I never go, oh, it's like a 6. I see a negative in a win. Everyone knows that I'm always buzzing. So I'm personally enjoying it, and yeah, watching highlights, watching the goal back, watching every player detail running off, celebrating. Then they put the Hulk cam on, and I'm looking at every fan in there. How does he celebrate? What's he doing? And just really loving it. So Ryan, sort of how are you feeling like a couple of days after the game and the fan cams, and what do you think this means for Aston Villa?
Yeah, still on cloud nine. Like just the image of that ball hitting the back of the net, where I'm sitting in the Holt end. You know, I had full view of the goal, and it's just been recycling in my mind all day, all last night. Woke up this morning thinking about it. I woke up in the night thinking about it. So it was just an extraordinary game, and I think it may be Unai Emery's best performance, I think, as an Aston Villa manager. Like, it was just a complete performance, and we are operating on the pitch, off the pitch at a very, very high level now. I've never witnessed Aston Villa operate like this. I thought the O'Neill days were good. Obviously, when we was winning trophies, that was excellent. But the level of football and the sophistication of the way we carry ourselves and the way we operate is just on another level. And the last two games have just been absolutely insane. And look, there's obviously been a lot of underlying data. The goals from outside the box, etc., etc. But this last two games has just completely blew that out the water. That we found another level to go to, and players are moving onto another level. There were certain players, and I'll put my hands up. Matty Cash, I thought he'd hit a ceiling, but he's just gone up and up a level. And like, he got his goal yesterday. He got the winner against City. He got our opening goal of the season, 5th game in against Sunderland. So, players, even like Lindelof come on last night, right? He come on yesterday, and like, we're playing out from the back with like 5 minutes to go, and he's in possession of the ball while Arsenal are like bombing onto him, and he's only been on the pitch in a couple of minutes. But it just shows you like the trust that each individual player has in the team collectively. And like, it's hard not to get the 23, 24 vibes. Like, I'm feeling it all over again, because we are well within the mix now for definitely Champions League football. I think that's on. I think our consistency has been unreal. Once we got over the hangover of the summer and really got into our season, and just our endurance so far, it's like we've been relentless all these European games, and the way Emery's managed squad minutes and the management of the squad has just been absolutely superb. I'm loving loving Aston Villa right now, and yeah, let the title talk, let it be, let it breathe. You know, it's like there is no race at the minute. The race happens at the business end of the season. But if you to look at the league table and go, who are the title contenders? You look at the top three, and our names in it. So we are a title contender because that is where we are. We're 3 points off the top. We're nearly halfway through the season. Like as it stands on paper, we've won 8 out of the last 9 games. We are contenders, guys. We are contenders. And look, you've got to keep demanding it. It's only what Emery's doing, isn't it? Emery will be demanding it. Let's as a fan base, let's positively keep demanding it.
Yeah, I think the important thing for me is the fact that we're not asking to do stuff that we've never done before. I think that's kind of where I'm at the minute with certain things. When I was going into the Arsenal game, I was quietly confident. I knew we could beat them. I knew we could get to a level. I know we've qualified for the Champions League before. We didn't sort of kind of do it last year, but, you know, Newcastle got Champions League last year through finishing 5th. We finished 4th when we qualified for it that season. So we've shown that we've got the experience and the know-how to finish 4th. So can we now do something that we've not done before? Maybe finish 3rd or 2nd or like 1st, you know. But yeah, so I think that's where I'm at. Like I'm quietly confident that we've got the ability to do something really good this season. So my next section that we're going to talk about is the Villa mean business midfield. Now, the 3 in the middle, when Villa play this Villa mean business midfield, Kamara, Onana, and Tielemans, it's very good. And Unai generally brings it out in the tough games, the top games, the PSG, Arsenal, etc. That's where we saw it doing its proper heavy lifting over the years. And I'm going to run through some of the numbers and then I'm going to move to Ryan and just, you know, talk to me a bit of like a tactical standpoint. Like, what do you like from it? What do you see from it, for example? So I'm going to go through the 3 players. And so recoveries against Arsenal, Kamara 13, Onana 7, Yuri 5. Defensive duels 1, Kamara 5, Onana 2, Yuri 3. Progressive passes, Kamara 3, Onana 1, Yuri 4. Offensive duels 1, we've got Kamara 4. Counter presses, Kamara 4, Kamara 6, Onana 4. We've also got successful crosses, Tielemans 2. Shots, Tielemans 2. Possession lost, Kamara 2, Onana 5, and Yuri 4. And I want to caveat into this the Arsenal numbers for possession lost. So we can see that Kamara was on 2, Onana 5, Yuri 4, right? Declan Rice 12, Zubamendi 6, and Odegaard 6. So when we're talking about what this Villa midfield were doing, look at what we made the Arsenal midfield do at the same time. So, Ryan, talk to me. What are the benefits and why do we play the 3?
Well, I think you've just nailed that with possession loss there. It's intensity, isn't it? It's being dominant and like I'd be shocked to see if Arsenal have given away that amount of possession in midfield in any game because their midfield is so strong, so dominant. Like Declan Rice is just elite. He's an elite midfielder, and we absolutely shut them down. And you texted in the week, didn't you, Luke, saying you think we're going to play this way? And the 3 of us were unanimous saying yes. And I think I replied saying, yeah, we'll need Maatsen because we'll need a bit of width and Cash with a bit of width. And I think that midfield block enabled us to get wide, and it enabled us to exploit Arsenal at their weak points, which is in the fullback positions when the fullbacks kind of move into the midfield, and it gave us that space just to break them, and we got so much joy out of it, and it's what that bank offered, really, just that huge stability. And when Trossard scored and Arsenal had their spell, then didn't they? They had a 10, maybe 15-minute spell, but we wrestled it back, and I think that's probably one of the most pleasing aspects of the game for me, is that we managed to wrestle back that momentum and regain it and keep it sustained in Villa's favour. I thought the endurance of that midfield was unbelievable. Like, everybody's had a lot of games. Like, Villa played a lot of games. Arsenal have played a lot of games. Arsenal made a lot of changes midweek when they had Brentford at home, but Villa, we just kept churning it and churning it and churning it. And to keep that power going in the midfield was absolutely crucial to the 3 points. And like, them players like Tillemans has come back, and the oozing of quality. It's just like, oh God, I've missed it so much. And Anana's just got better, and Boubacar Kamara, he's just taking it on to other levels, and the synergy they've got between them, and when to press and when to maintain shape and structure and cover each other and look after their fullbacks and drop into defence when they're needed. It's so well oiled. It's I'd imagine for a lot of Premier League clubs, it's quite envious, the talent we've got in the centre of midfield. So like, I just feel so blessed to be watching this level of performance and players performing as they are this season. It's just absolutely incredible.
I think Unai Emery. Well, I know Unai Emery is elite, and when you look at some of the things that Unai Emery can do on a team sheet or motivation or what he can get out of the players, Hannah, I think one player that I wouldn't say surprised me, but I think the whole nature of him playing, Maatsen, was such a big call / moment that could go under the radar a little bit. We could have just gone Digne, more solid, better defensively, but he went for Maatsen, and I felt like this is what Maatsen needed, a bit of a coming of age game to come up against Saka, defend well, but play well at the same time. Is there anything else, or you want to touch on Maatsen, or anything else in the game that kind of did surprise you, that sort of made you think, wow, it's quite impressive?
I'd say maybe the Maatsen one was surprising, but only because we don't tend to see him start in a lot of the big games, using air quotation marks there for anyone who isn't watching. But I think he would have been, in my head, he was bought with the intention that he was going to become our starting left back. He came in at a time where Luca Dean then upped his level, and Maatsen's bedding in period, he wasn't always the strongest defensively. I think the more he's played, we have seen that he definitely still has that capacity to be a brilliant defender. But clearly the intention in the game on Saturday was for the pace against Saka, because we knew it was going to be difficult. I actually think he did a very, very good job for the most part of containing Saka and didn't cause too many problems. But what Maatsen brings is so much more than that, like his delivery into the box. There was a period in the second half where we were, like you say, Ryan, we'd grappled the momentum back our way, and we were doing a lot of attacking down the right side, and Maatsen was on his own, and I could see from where I sit in the Trinity, Emery shouting, get it out to Maatsen, because every time we did, he was in a lot of space and he was finding a way through. I think he brings a really unique thing to this team. We've mentioned Matty Cash. He's obviously had almost like one of those seasons at Villa that completely rejuvenates his career almost, because he did have a lot of doubters. But again, he offers something completely different. I think he's incredibly strong defensively, but he's added goals this season, which is something that he kind of has had, but never to the extent that we're seeing now. So I think just the two fullback positions are bringing a lot to the team this season, which we've definitely needed in times where perhaps a bit of creativity or goals have lacked. I think something that other people have picked up on, but was really important, was the fact that we were at 1-1. The game was sort of, eking along, and we made really positive attacking substitutions. Obviously, Pau Torres had to come off, which was really unfortunate, and I don't know the severity of that. But elsewhere, we were making substitutions to win the football match, and that is the Unai Emery way. I think there has been perhaps some misconceptions around Unai Emery football and the way he goes about his game plans. But there was absolutely no doubt that he wanted to win that game on Saturday. And bringing Buendia on, Sancho on, Marlon on, he was going for it. And I think you get rewarded for that, those guts. And again, I think Buendia is one of those again that sort of revived his Aston Villa career. So I'm super happy with him. I think one final point would just be sort of going back to what Ryan said around the being able to sustain pressure and momentum. I saw lots of like, oh, Arsenal have had loads of games, blah, blah, blah. We've played X, Y, Z. I think what Aston Villa have done now is shown that 3 seasons in Europe, they can sustain momentum and the stamina of this team, both across the season. But in that match, I was watching them after 90 minutes thinking, oh my God, you have all busted a gut in this game. The legs, just the passion, everything was just spot on. So in that game itself, the stamina was incredible, but we're showing it season by season. Newcastle in their 2 Champions League seasons haven't been able to sustain it. You know, Forest have had a similar sort of thing where they're in Europe and they're dwindling. I suppose Palace are the only outliers in that trend, but we're now in season 3 and we are each time bringing a level of momentum and consistency to our football that I think is really underrated and is just a total credit to the team and the management and the man management, because I think I said in our little WhatsApp about the Matty Cash interview where he talked about when things were tough, he sort of let off a bit of the pressure and sort of protected the players. And then as soon as we started to tick again, it's full blast, getting the best out of his team. And it's just a total testament to how he manages to get a tune out of this squad. I just think, yeah, he's the best, isn't he? He really is.
Yeah, you've mentioned Cash, which kind of has led me on to a point, and I don't know whether you agree with this, guys, but it's just a point that come into my head when I was thinking about this episode. I'm talking about Cash. Right now, he's one of the best right backs in the Premier League. He's got 3 goals. That's the joint highest with Munoz for wing back fullbacks. So the output from him is very, very high. My next point leads me on like what does this result mean for Villa? And I actually feel like subconsciously it could actually mean quite a lot, because I look at sort of like Forest last season, you know, when they were just on a crest of a wave, and it fell apart at the end, but they didn't have the squad that we'd got and etc. And they ran out of steam and legs. But you know, when no one could stop them doing what they were doing, no one could everyone knew how they played, but nobody could stop it. And I actually feel like teams now might actually like respect us even more, and we just might have more like dominance over teams, and teams might have to just sit back a bit more against us, which then allows us to, yes, you've got to break down the low block, etc., but we keep the ball, we keep the structure, we can dominate with possession. I actually feel like something like that might happen there, because I look at a couple of teams that have tried to go at us. Bournemouth, Brighton, Arsenal, we've beat them all. You know, so if teams keep doing that, then the results are going to carry on. And I just think like the belief for the squad is huge. The expectation of probably what Emery's set the team, the belief should tie in with what we want to achieve. And I just think the confidence now is absolutely, I mean, it can't get any higher than this, can it? The confidence. You've just beat top of the league. You've played really well against them. So, you know, how can you get higher than this? And we've got to just kind of just keep rolling with it. So, Ryan, do you want to add anything on my point? Or does anyone want to think that my idea is actually not that good and it's like, it don't mean anything?
No. I personally felt that shift on Wednesday night. I thought Wednesday, there was something about Wednesday night. There was something in the air. There was something about the way Emery was carrying himself on the touchline. There was something about the way that second goal hit the back of the net, the noise of the net, the noise of the away end, Emery flinging his coat. And it's just like there was definitely a turn that night, and like the post-match celebrations, and like everyone's on board with Onana now. I know, like he was like, we signed him for 50 million to be a cheerleader, but at the minute, every single player wants a piece of the LAs at the end, and the team spirit. We're seeing like the photographers of Aston Villa just take some extraordinary pictures, and some of the images that have come out in the last two games just like shows you the team spirit. And like if lightning does strike twice, then it's like reminiscent of when we beat City and Arsenal within 3 days of each other, and it was around this time of year, wasn't it? Early December, and so it does feel very, very reminiscent of that. And if we can use this week as the momentum now to bottle up how we're feeling right now and take that into the rest of the season. No limit to our dreams, guys, like you say. Absolutely no limit, and we can just keep going on. And look, there'll be tough spells, and we'll probably lose one that we don't think we should have won or something like that. There will be a tough spell, and people will think that the wheels are coming off, but Emery's such good form at the minute, guys. He's like unbelievable. He's built this structure of a team and a shape, and we are so sorry to break down. Like you're saying, look, teams know how we're going to play. Iriola says we know what Aston Villa are going to do, but it's stopping them. It's stopping us. And like we touched on the midfield there, but it's the 10s, isn't it? It's the 10s that you can't stop, and that's where you get different variants each game. And I feel like when we signed Rashford and Asensio, everything changed then. The way Watkins operates now as a centre forward is because of what we were doing last season when we had Rashford, Asensio, and the movement and moving defences out of place. And you know Watkins, it's a tough gig being a centre forward on your own for Villa now, because he's sacrificing his role centrally to move out wide, so it opens up avenues for different players in the 10 position. And it's like game by game when we analyse Villa wins, it's because of something else Phil's done, or where Buendia has broke the lines and got through, where Rodgers has got through, where Watkins in the week finally bangs to, like the weight of the world's been taken off him. And it's just brilliant to watch. And just one more player performance from yesterday. I thought Emi Martinez, like, you're watching Arsenal versus Villa, and it's different build-ups and how the team presses you as you build, and what you do in reverse, how you press them. And it was just so fascinating to watch. But watching Emery, if the build-up weren't on, he was the guy that was signalling and taking responsibility to say, right, we're going long. And he'd point to the left side, and we'd get into a shape on the left, or he'd go for the right, and it'd be a different type of shape. And sometimes he was playing it long, and it weren't to win the first ball, it was to win the second ball. And there were so many different variants of our build-up, and Emi Martinez took a lot of responsibility of that, and he triggered every move. And I just thought that his form has been superb. I know we got caught playing out the back against Liverpool, but Emery wears them. He wears them for me, because that's what he's coached to do. But I thought his performance and his performances lately have been absolutely spot on.
Finally, then, Hannah, I feel like we've got to touch on Unai Emery just to finish off this episode. How are you feeling about him? Like, I just absolutely love him. I love him. I feel like I know him. It sounds weird. I've never met him. I don't know what I would do if I ever met him, but I don't know what I'd say if I ever met him. But like the job he's done, even this season, to take us from where we were at the start to now, and putting that type of performance, he's so elite. He's so good. What a manager. I mean, I'd run through a brick wall for him. I imagine every player would. How are you feeling about him? I don't think in my lifetime I'll ever see a manager that I love more than Unai Emery. I don't think I could do it.
I know. And that almost makes me a bit sad because I'm obviously I feel I'm still so early on in my life and following Villa that obviously Unai's not going to stay forever, and then it's like this void of after Unai. Like what will it look like? He's obviously now reached the most wins, hasn't he, in far fewer games than any of his predecessors in the Premier League, which is just incredible. I think looking at the league table since he arrived, which I know it's like an imaginary thing, but it for me that is always the biggest display of just how brilliant of a manager he is. Because the last time I saw it, we were probably third or fourth, and it's your usual above that. It's going to be Arsenal, City, and then either Chelsea or Liverpool. And for him to be putting Villa in that echelon of club is monumental for our football club, because we've dwindled in rubbish for over a decade, and he's come in and he's transformed it. And what he does is he paves the way for the future of the football club. Whatever the life is like after Unai Emery now, you feel like we can attract another manager of his style, of his type. Like he's changed Villa forever, I feel. And the way he's got the best out of this team, which there are reminders of Steve Bruce, of Dean Smith, of Steven Gerrard. There's realistically not that many Unai Emery players in his squad, and yet we're so much better, which is, again, such a testament to him. So I couldn't love him any more than I do. It feels like quite a parasocial relationship at this point. But he seems to be enjoying it this season. Like he's loving the Instagram posts, isn't he?
Yeah, isn't he? See,
Yeah.
I'm a bit weird like that. I look at stuff like that and I think he's fully into this. Like,
he's also, again, from where I sit, when he comes out, he's doing a lot more like interaction with the fans, the crowd, which, I mean, he's always, you know what he's like, he's always quite a reserved, eyes on the prize type character, but he's doing the high fives and everything, and it just feels like he's really enjoying this season, which is almost as important as anything else, because if he's enjoying it, one, we're playing well, and two, he wants to stay. So for me, we have to win something. We've said this in the week, haven't we, between us? He wins something at Villa and he solidifies himself as the best ever. I don't really know what it is. It could be the domestic trophy, or we win the Europa League and he becomes probably one of the best managers that we've ever had. And I want it for him almost as much as I want it for us, which again is slightly bonkers, but he is a magician. I hope he feels as loved as he is. And yeah, thank you for changing our mentality as a fan base, because I used to turn up to games against Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, whoever, and think we ain't going to win today. And now I go into them thinking we're going to win today. And what a shift is that?
Yeah,
for a football fan to think. I mean, there's still a little bit in the back of my head. I'm thinking back, Ryan, you mentioned like a banana skin game when we had Sheffield United on like the 21st of December to go top of the league for Christmas, and we drew. So we've still probably got a few of those, but in general, as a fan of Aston Villa, I've never felt more confident that we are going to do something, what we're going to achieve.
Yeah, but I feel like he's a learner, Emery. He knows from experience, like stuff like that can happen. I think he knows that though, when he keeps mentioning, like, I think was it Wolves at half time, he went in the change room and the interview came out that he'd mentioned Ipswich and Bournemouth. And like he'd like banked those in his memory, and he mentioned it, and we came out and beat Wolves. Ryan, you want to add? I mean, I guess you got something to add on Emery, but do you want to add anything that Hannah's not mentioned?
No, I'm deep into Gillan Balagay's book at the minute, and I beg all of you to go and read it, because the insights that you're getting about Emery's character from ending his career and going straight into management and just getting a team promoted straight away in his first season and carrying on that momentum to places like Valencia and Sevilla and Paris Saint-Germain, where he introduced Neymar and Mbappe to the squad, and like the journey that the guy's been on. Obviously, he had a horrid time at Arsenal, but then rebuilt himself at Villarreal, and we are benefiting from all that experience, all them trophies that he's won, all them ups and downs, all them players that he's managed and signed, and the different circumstances he's been under to achieve certain things. And his journey has been incredible. And it's like, he's at Villa now. He's at Villa, and he's in his prime. Do you know what I mean? And you see some of the things that they talk about and what he's built and the structure and the mentality he has in his head and his set plays. There was a part of the book where he had over 40 different corner routines, and this was his first season as a 32-year-old coach. Like the details and everything, and you see it all. You see it all in Villa now, and it's just an absolute incredible guy. Like you, Luke, I wouldn't know what to say of him. I'd probably just mount his knee. I don't know. I'll just give him a big fat hug, man, and tell him I love him.
I reckon he's been incredible. Kiss his shoes, I would. I'd be like, just worship him. I would.
the saviour, yeah, absolutely incredible. So, I'm just loving watching him and watching this Villa team that he's moulded and shaped and created for us. We're very lucky, guys. We're very lucky. So let's keep enjoying it.
I think Ryan's you've touched on this, and I've touched on it on the debrief when I was speaking about when Arsenal scored, and Hannah, you touched on like old Villa earlier. Villa in my lifetime lose that game. 9 times out of 10, no matter what the manager is, we lose that game. We could lose it probably in like the late 80s, the 90th minute. And then when we got to like the 80th minute against Arsenal, I'm seeing us with possession in and around the Arsenal box. And I'm thinking, we're going to do these. We're going to do something. I said to the guy before he left early next to me that I said, we'll get another chance here. And the chance came. And I mean, that again, that's a testament to Emery, and I think one of you mentioned it on this. We took Cash off, put Bogard at right back, brought Brendier on. Very progressive substitution, but all of them are very methodical and thought out for a reason. It's not just like chucking on an attacker and just saying, go and have a quick 20 minutes and see what you can do. It's like everything has got so much. And when I was running through these passes and recoveries from the midfielders, every action on that football pitch has got a purpose, and I think we can see that through watching us. So
I mentioned on the fan camp then the 4-2 result when Arsenal beat us 4-2 early doors in Emery's reign. And not to repeat myself, but I do think it's super important the way we've changed from that performance at the end when Martinez went up for the corner and he didn't have permission, and Arsenal went down and scored, and made it 4-2, and we still had a couple of minutes to play. And always remember that game coming out going, we've played really well. If we carry on playing like that, we'll go far. And then Emery was sort of like, no. We didn't play well. We played good for spells, but then we had no control. We didn't have this. We didn't have that. We're going up for corners where no one's giving you permission to go up for corners, and we're conceding goals. And then, obviously, yesterday, we're putting our foot on the ball with a couple of minutes to go, believing we can still score, and we did. And that first game, we could have done that then and believe we could get an equaliser. We said we were just too flappy, too playing off the crowd, and we lost that game 4-2. So I feel like that shift from then to there is a brilliant example of how far we've come mentally in the game as well. Really.
Yeah, spot on. Because whenever I watch a goalkeeper go up now, when I'm watching football, I'll just think not on Unai's watch, and then I'll just start thinking about like Unai's philosophy and think that it's not good to do that. And yeah, he's just transformed how I watch football really. So I think this has been a real insightful episode to kickstart the week. And we've got a big week with Europa League, and then we've got a huge game against West Ham on Sunday. So cheers everyone for watching. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.